All right, so you got to remember that when you're doing Uber, if you're doing anything to make money, you're still an entrepreneur. You still need to learn sales, man. And that's the main thing that people don't understand about business. Whenever you're trying to make money, you got to know how to influence people to buy. And that right there will make it where once you know that and you can feel confident in the fact that you can sell, like that opens up so many doors, bro. That opens up so many doors. That opens up everything. It changes the way you think, not just about sales, but about what can be sold, what options that you have now. That's the main thing. Like, if you don't know how to sell, then your business isn't going to work, bro. And that can be applied to Uber. How? How can it be applied to Uber? A lot of times when you're trying to get when you're trying to get tips, bro, it all comes down to psychology. I already gave you guys a tip earlier on how to get more money from your customers. And it's kind of like it goes like this. And this is something I learned from Robert Cialdini's book. I think it's called Influence. And he tells about like six different areas of influence. And he's a psychologist. I think he might not even be a psychologist. I think he's just like a scientist, and he just took the art of sales and he interviewed a bunch of different salespeople, and worked in their field, and he was able to pick out certain areas of sales that make or break or basically are the most important part of influence. And so one of the one of the main influence triggers is consensus, which means if other people want to do something, then it's going to make me want to do something more because people want to fit in. They want to, whenever the majority says something, more people are going to want to do it. If something's very popular, if everybody's going, then more people are going to be like, yo, yeah, I want to go. It's just like that. And you can do that with your customers. You can be like, if you start talking about how everybody doesn't tip you and how bad it is and how much money you don't make and how much Uber sucks because they told everybody they shouldn't tip, and you telling your customer that, your customers are not going to want to tip you. But if you're telling everybody, if you tell your customers how much tips you're getting, you start talking about people that are like them, who give you tips, and I like people like you because last person who's last businesswoman who I drove home, you know what I'm saying, was like gave me like my biggest tip that I've had so far or whatever, you know what I'm saying? If you start talking like that and you make it seem like this is the thing that people are doing, you're gonna get more tips. The thing is that that's not the only influence thing. Like there's a whole bunch of different things like trying to gain compliance, learning to gain people's trust, um, and there's a bunch of different ways to do it. Scarcity. I mean, just there's a bunch of different triggers, and you can use that, but you got to actually put the thought into it and put something together so that you can actually influence people to tip you more. Some of the stuff you can do without even wording it, like without even talking about sales. You can just put up a sign in your car or put up something in your car that kind of hints at it in a way, and people will start doing it. It's like putting up a sign that's like, well, 99% of my or 90% of my customers tip and we appreciate tips and or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Something like that will get you more tips, you know what I mean? I don't know how much more, but you'll get more tips. especially if you're driving with Lyft, which they could just tip you through the app. But even cash, like people say that they don't carry cash, that's a lie. Like people still carry a lot of cash nowadays. The only reason why people don't tip is because Uber just made it seem like it's not needed. But empower yourself, bro. Don't just be out here living for the moment like everything is all good. Just you should always be moving forward, always learning something. And the main thing that you want to learn, one of the first things you want to learn, if you're trying to make more money, you got to learn how to sell people. There's no way around it. And if anything, starting trying to ask people for tips and learning how to gain people's trust and stuff like that indirectly trains you ahead of time before you even like eventually open your own business and you start really having to sell people. You want to get to practice now. You don't want to waste your time and wait till you're in the moment where you need the skill to start trying to learn the skill. Like learn it now. Make it your mission, or yeah, mission. Make it your mission to get as many tips as you can without making people feel uncomfortable. And just get good at it. Get good at talking to people and laying it down and talking to people about tips and not feeling uncomfortable about it. But that's all I got for you right now. Thanks for listening.